up, guys? Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And today, I'm experiencing some deja vu. Today.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know if it's the coffee I had. Maybe I'm a little too stimulated.
I had
And maybe it's a
also a
mirage.
stimulation.
Did you have a stimulation?
Yeah.
Well, we have the King of Niagara in the building again.
Yeah.
Did you
Except
teleport
now
here?
I'm actually the king. I was the prince.
You were the prince. Now you're the king, so
Yeah.
I'm going to just bow quick.
Thank you.
Mr. Andrew Perrie, you don't really need an introduction.
But there was one, so thank you.
You're welcome. I guess there's still an introduction.
Yeah.
I guess just by default on a podcast, you just need to introduce a bit.
Yeah. But I appreciate it, and it was a wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
Unless you weren't finished.
No, it's pretty much. There's a crown coming in, if Dean wants to present it, but Dean's shy.
He already said no.
He's giving me a shy look. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, thanks, pal. Appreciate
it's
it.
been, I'd love for the editors to throw up a little before and after the first time here. You were one of my earliest guests.
Was I?
We didn't know each other.
No.
You came all the way from Niagara for me,
Yep.
and this wasn't even like much of a thing yet. So thank you.
Yeah, it felt like a thing. It felt like the quality from the very beginning was, always very, very high. But now it's even higher, as I can see behind the cameras with Dean there. He's,
Well, he's still. Oh, true. With these cameras, it makes sense. I don't never give Dean the benefit of the doubt. I think the one thing that we need to really get this pod off the ground is to just get rid of Dean.
Whoa! Shots fired.
Yeah. We can get rid of me. But yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. And if you throw up that before and after, definitely some changes for sure.
I think one of them has to do with weight.
Yeah. Well, funny. I've never been like a big guy ever. Like in high school, I was 145 pounds. By mid-20s, I was like 178, but I was like you. I was like not as big, but I was like 10% body fat. I was in great shape. Then I started, having kids. And have you ever heard of dad tax?
No.
No. Okay. So dad tax, for those of you at home, and this is probably going to be a great clip to cut out. I don't know, Dean. So if you have kids, every time you give them food, I charge a dad tax, meaning I eat a piece of their food.
Okay.
So the dad tax was kind of like the Canadian government. I was taking a little too much. Yeah. So by the end of it, I was up to 53% dad tax, and I was up to 200 pounds and probably about 35% body fat. So I was round. You rolled me out of here, I remembered. And you know what? At that point, our team was just getting started. We had just hired our director of ops, Andrea, who was here. And you know what? With the growth of the team, the growth of the business, I found that it was super reliant on my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wasn't in a good position physically, I wasn't in a good position mentally either. And, we had one of the slowest years on record in Canadian real estate last year. And, it was affecting me. We had 2 months of nothing, goose eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And, expenses are still coming
For
out,
sure.
50K. So next thing you know, I'm in the hole. I'm the one taking the risk, right? And I just realized that I got to straighten my life out.
Mm-hmm.
I went off the drink for a little while. I smartened up, tightened up my routines, my morning routine, started waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and, just hit the gym hard, but hit the diet a little bit harder. And here we are, 182.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
It's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm still going up and down a little bit, but
Yeah. 180 is a solid weight, though.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I still have some, spare tire or whatever, muffin top, love handles, as my wife likes to not say. But there's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah. And I imagine now, no more dad tax. You probably opened up a corp.
No,
You're sheltering?
Yeah, we started the holding corp, and I'm taking a little less now, about 7 to 12.
7%?
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's about a quarter of a chicken nugget.
That's still, you know what? Even that is very satisfying.
The taste is there.
It is.
And, it doesn't make me any more hungrier until
Yeah.
the ice cream comes out.
Yeah, when I was on a hard cut back in the day, I would always treat myself with a quarter of a rice cake, but the caramel chocolate ones.
The one with the little,
But it was enough.
yeah.
It was
yeah,
enough.
Yeah.
Had to have a chocolate piece on it.
I remember that,
was
man.
enough.
Back in my mid-20s, like I would boil chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't put any sauce other than the salsa. Like, what a life.
Yeah.
It was vegetables, brown rice, boiled chicken for some reason. Like, what's the difference between boiled chicken and just cooking on a pan?
Yeah, it's
I
true.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your life.
Yeah. That's me every day.
Anyways, so that's where we are today. Healthy, happy.
And number 2?
Yeah. So we're number 2 as a team in the Niagara region. So out of around 1,700 agents, not as impressive if I said number 2 on the Toronto Real Estate Board.
Yeah.
But, still a lot of hard work went into this. We have a really amazing team out there, David Zindelat, who by the time this podcast airs could probably be in position number 2. We're so close. We're that close. They're always number 1. There's one person ahead of us right now in the number 1 position. And
Who is that?
His name's Greg Sykes. He's the singing realtor, the
Yeah,
guy who does all the parodies.
Yeah. I've seen him. Yeah.
Great guy,
Mm-hmm.
good realtor. He's got a great team, and he's got a great voice.
Yes.
A phenomenal voice. So he's number 1, and we're number 2 right now for sales volume, and David Zindelat. But like I said, it's anybody's game at this point, and David Zindelat has just an awesome team down there.
I love it. The competition is nice.
It's
good to
great,
have.
but you know what? Like, he calls me, I call him, and he's so grateful for how well we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for all the help that Sean and his team has given us as well, and we support each other. We go to each other's agent open houses. You know, just try to collab, show the market that we're not all competitors.
Yep.
Because you and I have talked about this many times. That's when you coined the phrase coopetition.
Yes.
Is on our podcast, I think.
It was here.
Yeah.
It was right here on this couch.
Yeah, I could tell what was going through your mind, and I'm like, this guy just came up with a coined phrase.
You know what? It wasn't mine. It was from a podcast.
Oh.
But I use it a lot.
Yeah.
So it could be mine. If no one's ever heard of that podcast, it's mine.
There you go.
So.
And so when I used to go into listing presentations, and the sellers used to say, Andrew, you're here for one reason. I'm like, why? Well, because the other realtor was talking so much shit about you. So I'd have to see what the hell this Andrew Perrie guy is. And now, although I love getting those calls and I love getting those opportunities, I would much rather the community and the market see other agents working together than trying to bring them down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a big preacher of that.
Good. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
And, across all different brokerages, Greg and Sean are from Remax. So.
It's all ours, though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like R. But, okay, so I want to break down. We're going to give people some value. Obviously, number 2 is huge. All right. Give us some key takeaways, some key points as to how do you get to this level. Obviously, you got a whole machine working. You're a big time referral based.
Yeah.
But let's break down for those out there who are maybe have no idea, like, how the hell can I get to that level? It takes a lot of work, systems, processes. You got to build out a business. Let's break that down.
So at the very core, there was an influx of new realtors. There was this is not hate on anybody because I'm a big content guy. You're a big content guy. But what I noticed is that over the past 12 to 24 months, new realtors only knew how to do what I thought I could do in order to get more business, which was create more content. And I think there's just so much content out there, so much noise, that the average consumer was like, who the hell am I supposed to call? And what does it mean? What services do people offer? So what we did is we continued putting out content, of course, but we doubled down on the actual services and education that we provided to the community. So what we did is we got out in the community way more. Sponsorships, sports, events, holidays. We did an Easter coloring contest. And the fact that we were out there in the community, it broke that barrier between only seeing me online, only seeing my team online, And having that opportunity to create that face-to-face relationship that I think, and it's really difficult for the average realtor, because how's an average solo realtor going to be able to afford a booth at every single event? How are they going to be able to afford to sponsor all these different teams? How are they going to afford, or where do they even find the support to put something big together for the community? So I think that was number one, is getting out there, showing everybody that, we're not just massive digital marketers, we're also a collaborative community supporter. So that's number one. Number two, we really focused on what the services we were actually providing to our clients. And I'm not saying, okay, do we shovel the driveway? Do we cut their grass? Do we help them move? In some aspects, we do all of that. We don't do it for everybody, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, hey, this is what we do. We're going to take HDR photos. We're going to take drone. We're going to promote it on our Instagram. I don't even bring up my social media because I feel like that's a given. It's a free method.
Yep.
If they ask me, I'll say, yeah, sure. We got 50,000 followers across all of our platforms. No problem. We're going to post it there for you. But that's a given. It's like you're saying, hey, we're going to post it on the MLS.
Yes.
Okay, good. And, right? So it's kind of like the new age MLS, in my opinion. And so what we got really clear on was like, okay, look, once you sign with us, like you have a team, onboarding processes for new realtors should be the exact same for new clients.
Yeah.
So we onboard you. So from the very first second we meet, they feel like they're getting, who was on my podcast? Chris Kelleher from Collingwood. He calls it the real estate hug. So it's where and he said it's transformational, not transactional.
Okay.
So it's like you're meeting the person, you say, hey, Mr. and Mr. Seller, welcome on board. Here's Andrea Lombardo. She's our director of ops. Here's Gracie. She's our, transaction manager, client care, marketing. She's going to reach out, get the documents for your FinTrack, get this, get that, walk you through all of the marketing before it goes live, and, updates, open house updates, all of that stuff. And so what that did is it really separated us from being good realtors to great realtors. And what that did is that the clients ended up referring us to all of their friends and family.
Yeah.
Because all of our clients, not all, but majority, I'd probably say 80% of our clients are 55 plus. So when you're in a community like Niagara-on-the-Lake or Niagara, a lot of these clients are in the same position in their lives where they're making a move, they're thinking of making a move, or they're moving their family down to be closer to them. And what we did was we were able to almost double our production that we did in the height of COVID last year in the slowest real estate market in Canadian history because we got so many referrals from our existing clients and then obviously our amazing agent-to-agent connections, which we did 51 last year.
Wow. Just from agents.
Just from agents.
Power, guys.
Well, because what happens is these agents, their clients come back to them and they say, dude, thank you very much for referring us to Andrew and his team. I can't believe it. I've never had an experience like this. And they're like, wow, okay. So that means that, because sometimes you see people on social media and you're like, they obviously are doing very well for themselves, so I'm going to send them a client. And then you hear back from the client, they're like, man, this guy never called me. He was late or this or that. So what people don't really realize is that what the client experiences throughout the transaction, even after, is the most important.
For sure.
Anybody can send them listings. Anybody can get a HDR photo and a videographer out there to present their house well, but who's actually going to be following through on the actual service?
Yeah, it's facts.
Right?
It's very true, especially nowadays in this current climate that we're in. I've had multiple people this past week who have listed properties complain to me saying, my agent literally just put on MLS.
Yeah. Sometimes the
And-
wrong MLS.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I list all my Toronto properties on the Barrie board.
On the Barrie too?
Does that work?
Yeah.
Because I'm not selling.
I can't tell you.
You can't tell me why?
No, I have 32 listings, so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
We got over 175,000 in marketing costs just sitting there right now.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
It's the market. For one, the mortgage rates doubled up in the last 60 days, and then couple that with the summer, which is really difficult. And as the moderator of Real Estate Hacks, we're seeing all these people like, what's going on with my listing? Why isn't it selling? It's been on the market 20 days. You're like, what the fuck? I mean, man, when I first started, I was signing 12-month contracts for anything over $1 million.
Yeah, 20 days is nothing.
It's not. But I also feel like we don't have enough data right now to really suggest what's happening.
It's true.
Because usually, once a rate announcement, comes into effect, knocks out about 30% of activity, let's call it that.
Yep.
And then what will happen is people get used to it. And they're like, shit, well, I got to buy, so let's go. And then we see more activity. But we're not seeing that right now. And is it because of the summer, or is it because the rates are just too fucking high?
Yeah, and then also the third thing is the next announcement. Everyone's waiting.
September 5th?
Yeah.
And what a joke. What a joke. Let me tell you this right now. And I'm getting a little heated because I'm blessed to be in the position where I am. I had to make sacrifices. You went out to Florida. I went out to Florida with the Spark Boys, and I'm so appreciative of them. And they treated me like their guests the whole time. And the idea was to go out there, shop, buy. I come home. We start going through the process of refinancing and renewing my mortgage because I had to renew. And our appraisal came in lower than what it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
So so at the end of the day, I couldn't pull out any money and I couldn't invest in Florida.
Is that close to comps though? Is that close to sold data?
No. Lower than sold data.
Yeah.
Lower than sold data.
I don't get some of these appraisers.
And so I actually had to get a new appraiser in.
Yeah.
And we did get it up higher, somebody who knew the area. However, what happened is that now my mortgage was $3,500. It just went up to $6,700.
Wow.
So over $3,000 a month
crap.
in just interest only.
Yeah. Are you in a variable or did you renew?
I did a 2-year.
Okay.
I know. It was the highest, but, well, I guess the 1 year was the highest, but I went with the 2-year. The 3-year was more attractive, but I think a lot of my big clients, a lot of my top % clients are saying survive till 25.
Yeah.
Hold on to what you got. So anyways, and now I also have a commercial building as well. It's worth 1.4 probably. I just got a new tenant in there. The commercial tenant, it's like a boxing gym.
Nice.
They renovated the whole thing. So now my value's gone up. And then, we're working on the commercial refi now. And it's, like I said, it's worth 1.4. I owe $650. RBC's offering me $510,000. So if I wanted to go with them, I had to come up with $100,000 just to keep my own mortgage, to keep my own property on a $1.4 million property.
Yeah.
It's a 6-unit, 2 commercial, 4 residential, beautiful building in Muskoka. So that's what we're seeing. I'm blessed, like I said, when I started this conversation, because I can afford it.
Yeah.
I can't afford much else now, but I can afford it. And I basically have to do, if we sign that deal, let's call it 2,000, 24 to 48, plus 72, let's just call it $120,000 in interest only over the next 2 years, just because of these interest rate hikes. Like, what the fuck is going on? To me, it's, I'm sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
I forgot.
You can swear again
So to me, what I'm thinking is that all the appraisals are coming in low. The bank's only willing to give me $500, half the value. When are they planning on stopping these rate hikes? Because to me, it now seems like we're going to have a few more.
Yeah.
I said that we weren't going to have any more like a year ago, and I was way wrong. So
You think September we're increasing?
If we don't increase, like we did in February, March, or whatever it was, and then they'll increase again.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. I thought we were done.
Yeah.
Before June.
Well, prices jumped. We had a huge influx, like 15%.
Yeah.
Run up, January to May.
Yeah. So what the heck?
Right?
So it's an interesting concept. From a business standpoint, I don't believe in bad markets or good markets. There's opportunities, there's setbacks, and there's solutions. And, I just have to get over that from my personal standpoint. But you know what? I think there's going to be a lot of hurting people over the next few months.
I know it's sad, man. I've just being on the inside. We're not going to promote where our clients are at. Obviously, we're not going to come out and be like in our brokerage remarks, client is desperate. Client cannot afford next month.
Yeah.
Client cannot afford 60 days from now.
Right.
But it's out there. Luckily, they're still getting market value and they're getting a good chunk of change. But it's seeing more and more. And you mentioned something before the pod. You said you're a friend of the bank, talking about how many defaults.
Yes. Yeah. So they were doing about 5. I don't know what you call them, like foreclosures or bank repossessions. They're doing like 5 a month over the past 10 months or so, and now they're doing around 50.
Yeah.
And they're expecting to do about 200 in the next 6 months.
A month.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Is that not a clear tell right there?
Yeah.
Scary.
But this guy does it, basically all over the GTA and GTHA, right? So it's not just one secluded area. Everybody's affected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think about our industry? Let's get into our industry a little bit.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I like to call it food. Okay.
I like food too.
The amount of transactions that we're doing every year. 2021, roughly, I think we had 124,000, something around there, in 120 range. We're on track for, by the end of the year, the forecast is maybe 70,000. Okay. So just a little over half. So we're dealing with 50% of the transactions that are out there, the amount of deals that are to be had by realtors. Then the amount of realtors has gone up, right? So obviously a lot of people are watching the TV shows or, seeing the successful guys do it or women do it and like, let's get my real estate license.
Yeah.
Now, it's obviously not the reality.
Right.
So come January, come 2024.
Yep.
How do you think this industry looks?
I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be that large percentage of any industry that's not going to do as well.
Yeah.
Call it 80-20. Some people say 90-10. But there's always going to be the vast majority of any industry that isn't doing quite as well as the top 10 or 20%. So what I feel is going to happen to our industry in particular is that the agents, most of them are just going to say, look, I'm not doing this anymore. Because I know teachers that have walked away because of their membership dues, which is $200 a year. Yeah, in Niagara anyways. And how do you think realtors feel? In Niagara, it's $450 every quarter, plus RICO, plus AREA, plus. So for a lot of people that aren't doing business, that's a lot of money just to keep your license active.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, a fair chunk will just get straight out of the industry. And then the rest, the problem with the rest, and this is, look, I don't badmouth anybody's business practices, but the problem with that is that they're the ones that are, in my opinion, destroying the industry.
Yeah.
They're taking listings at 1%. They're doing a shitty job.
Overpricing listings.
They're overpricing listings, which hurts us all.
Yeah.
And what they're doing too is that, they're driving out 4 hours, putting offers in. And again, we're licensed in all Ontario. Have I driven 3 hours to put an offer in? Yes. Obviously, I'm more of a referral person now, and I understand what it takes, what you need to do in order to make a paycheck. I believe in that. Do whatever you need to do. But the problem is that that's when you hear the stories, oh, I bought a lakefront property on an eroded hill. My whole property is missing before closing.
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
Right? Well, you didn't do a home inspection. You didn't do a survey. You didn't do you didn't do anything. And so I think that just destroys the industry as a whole because you're trying to make a paycheck because you're in an industry where I'm not saying you're not worth it or you're not good enough to be here. You're just not treating it as a business to the point where you're actually taking care of your clients. And that's to me why I think the industry is where it's at. But honestly, I think we're in a beautiful opportunity where those people are going to flush themselves out. It's going to leave more room for the better agents that are treating their clients as an actual what's the word I'm looking for? As an actual valuable relationship and not just a transaction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I agree fully, man. I've heard.
I think teams are going to be even more prevalent. I think that there's a big difference between a mom and a husband and wife team to a team with 10 agents.
Yeah.
I feel that way because at the end of the day, if you don't, and again, this is not brushing everybody with the same blanket or brush or paint or whatever, but any team, it could be a large team or a medium-sized team, but if you don't have the right processes in place, it doesn't matter that you call yourself a team. If you don't have the processes and the systems and the services all lined up, then you either what's the benefit of even using a team?
Yeah.
So I think the top producing teams are going to get bigger.
Yep.
And I think they're going to be able to provide more services. And I think the agent retention is going to be a lot higher. When I first started, bless you.
Thanks, man.
When I first started, the team turnover was very high because people weren't necessarily chasing the value; they were chasing the dollar.
Yes.
And now people are much more understanding of what it takes to become successful in this business, and they're being much more reliant on their team, their coaches, mentors, etc.
And I think if you're really smart right now, because it's not going to be this lull is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
But you're taking the time to fill up the cracks in the foundation and get that machine of a team even better. Doubling down on the business,
man.
You know, building out even better systems, the latest and the greatest. That's what I'm doing right now. But I'm new to the team, so for me, I'm trying to like really build it out flawlessly.
Yes.
While I have the time.
Right.
So I know how I am like a 2021 year. You know. So yeah, I fully agree, man. And I think the market share is just going to be run over by these individuals or teams.
Yeah.
Those who have it are going to get more. Teams that are coming up are going to take more. But if you don't have a proper business in place, because these clients are about to get some really, really interesting experiences.
Right.
And they're going to compare that shit.
I agree.
And they're going to hear stories from their friends.
I agree. And,
You know?
and I'm happy you said that because there are also very big teams that are top producing that are still very transactional. And if they don't change that mindset,
Yes.
like, when I talked to Sean Delano, who still did amazing last year, when I talked to Scott Benson, I just talked to him at the Zan team, had us there for a panel. I talked to other top producing real estate teams that are doing hundreds, if not thousands of deals a year. And they said, Andrew, we had our worst year last year. I said, how? Like, you guys are so big. How is that even possible? Like, I'll tell you why. We were way too reliant, and they know this, and they've changed and adapted, and they're killing it. But we are way too reliant on online leads. I said, okay. And these big teams that are doing 1,000, 2,000 deals, they're all too reliant on the next business, new business, where our team has never, ever. We actually turned all of our online leads off last year. We just recently turned them back on just to, get the, we don't want to, be completely rusty when we have new inquiries. So we're actively training. But at the same time, it makes up like 5-10% of our business. That's why we shut it off.
Yeah.
We focused on building relationships, educating our clients, in cultivating or fostering these amazing relationships with our past clients. That's all we did. And so I think that's the future of real estate, where it's not, people are way too smart now. They're not just going to find their realtors online anymore. They're going to ask questions, ask people for their personal recommendations and experiences. And that's why I think if those transactional real estate teams that are doing those 1,000, 2,000 deals a year, they're not going to have the returning clientele. I'm not assuming anything. I'm just saying if they're focused only on online leads and that turnover, they're not going to have a business in the next 5 to 10 years.
And it's unsettling.
Yeah.
Every year is like that chase.
Exactly.
It's
and
stressful,
why?
No.
The feeling that I have of not chasing business, that was, I didn't even notice it or realize it or visualize it when I was starting in the business, but that's the goal. To be able to come and talk to you and travel around the world and speak, and knowing that my business is still running, my clients are still being well served, knowing that by the time I get back home, I'll still have clients who want to work with me, who've reached out to me, as opposed to the other way around. Man, it's such a liberating feeling.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah.
People should literally like get ahead of this while you can, because it's now's the time.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not hustling and not doing my own lead generation, because I am, but it's more of like a respect thing now.
Yeah.
I don't say, go to a networking event or a community event and say, hey, what do you do? I never say I'm a realtor. I say I own a real estate company. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Chris Kelleher was on my podcast yesterday, said the same thing.
Yeah.
I said, I'm glad you said that, because when, our mutual friend Sam, Mile, he does a lot of networking for me, and I love the guy. He does it for all of his clients. He's such a good guy. But he's like, Andrew Perrie's a realtor in Niagara. You're going to love him. I said, Sam, never say that again, please. He owns a real estate business. He's got an office in Niagara on Lake, an office in Muskoka. And I feel like, once that type of reputation has been built,
Yeah.
that's when that respect issue that comes in, like I was saying. So it's a good opportunity to educate the people in your community about what you actually do. And that's what we spent all last year doing.
That's it. I just tell people I open doors.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what? I point to things on TikTok.
Yeah. I just say open doors. What kind of doors? Whatever doors you want.
Any door you want.
Doors of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the key for them all.
Tell me that's your slogan on the back of a bus.
It should be.
Cell phone. When opportunity knocks, call Matt Campoli.
Because I open doors.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you back, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, you're awesome. Very, very well respected in the industry. So keep it up.
Man.
We're only going up and up from here.
I only believe that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only way to believe.
Yes.
And I have a thought process. What do
Yeah.
you think about a real estate boxing league?
Oh shit. Like actual boxing, like physically?
No, we can air punches.
Okay, if it's air punches, I'm in.
For charity.
Okay. So funny you brought that up.
Yeah.
There's a charity. It's not just for realtors. It's like for business people and influential people. It's called Pearl Gloves.
Yeah.
In Niagara, and they, who did it? There was a girl who worked for us, Jen, and she did it. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
But with all this fucking Jake Paul, goings on, I don't know. Maybe it makes sense.
You know what? It's like just putting it out there. This is one of those like
Like
the
bum
seed is
fights?
there, guys.
Like bum fights? Remember bum fights?
No.
You don't remember bum fights?
No.
How old are you?
Do you remember bun fights? Do you?
Yeah.
So
So
BUM?
BUM. So
You
that
do?
turned into Bodog, didn't it, or something?
Oh.
No. It turned into something.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it basically like backyard brawls,
True.
but it would be homeless people.
Okay.
And this guy started it, and then
Is that
he
legal?
opened up another league, though. Actually,
Is that legal?
this is like when you had dial-up modem.
So when shit was allowed.
Yeah, yeah,
True.
yeah.
When
yeah.
there's no canceling.
Yeah, this is like before Kimbo Slice.
Oh, Kimball's a G.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, was
Yeah, it was a G.
was a
Wow.
G.
Well, hey, seeds planted. Seed is planted.
Seed is planted. I
could be a
would
thing.
prefer like a hockey tournament, skateboarding, even a Realtors Got Talent kind of deal. But
Yeah.
boxing, all right.
We could do a hybrid.
Oh.
Let's do a Realtor Olympics.
But you know what? Growing up, all my buddies were always older than me, so they kicked
What's
the
that
shit out
supposed
of
to
me.
mean? What's that supposed to mean, Dean?
Fuck.
You hear this guy?
Yeah.
That's why we're gonna let him go.
Oh man.
Well, my friend, where can for those that are hearing you the first time around now,
Yeah.
where can they find you?
At the Andrew Perrie. Yes, I paid for the blue tick, but that's how you know it's the real Andrew Perrie.
I pay for it too, my friends. It is what it is. A lot of scammers out there. Oh, I know you can't say much, but some fun news, right?
Yes.
Let's do it. Tell them.
So I got a few fun things coming in. Last year we shot a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go anywhere.
Wait, was he in the plane? How did you shoot him on the?
This guy's. You should do dad joke or realtor. You know
I'll
what?
do a dad joke podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
I'd
like
kill it.
don't laugh. You know those videos?
Yes.
I tried that with my son, and it performed well. Let's just say that. So long story short, it did attract some networks.
Mm-hmm.
I am shooting an episode for another network. Shoot next week.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited. Should come out next year. Our pilot did get the attention of a fairly big investor who wants to make some changes, but we're working on that. I just released a book, Niagara, Wine Lover's Guide, which is currently #1 on Amazon. And we just have a lot of really, really cool things in the works. And, we're, traveling more over the next 12 months and speaking about it and just making the world know our name.
That's onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Okay.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, buddy.
Got some big things in the future. And to everyone out there, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this to a friend you think would find value in this. Give us all the love and support. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.